I heard something behind me in the bushes, and I saw these two guys walk out of the bushes, and they were clad in these like squirrel suits walking out, and I connected the dots and was like, oh, they're gonna jump. It's always a fine line between doing something as a hobby and doing it for a living. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, myself included. My dad is a jewelry designer, so I think I've always considered myself a creative in some way. I'm originally from Sweden, and I moved to San Francisco 5 years ago now. And I actually didn't get into photography until after I made the move. Me and my friend, we had like a New Year's resolution. We're like, okay, we're gonna take photos of 100 sunrises this year. So we decided to let's get up 2-3 times a week before sunrise, and got a little more challenging during the summer when sunrise is like before 5. And as I was doing these things, I started getting some smaller brands reaching out, and I started working for free, and then I got more and more into it. I was with a couple of friends, and we were out by Glacier Point in Yosemite for sunrise, and we're taking some photos. I had some friends visiting from Norway, and so I saw these guys walk up to the cliff, and then they just took 5 to 10 minutes just breathing together, and then finally leaping off. And by no means are they my favorite photos or anything, but I did realize something when this was happening. I was like sitting there as I saw them like swerving away in the valley, and then I was like looking down at my camera, and I realized that my hands were shaking, and like my heart was beating really fast, and I had this stupid big smile on my face. And I realized that, to me, that kind of joy that these guys get from jumping off a cliff, that's the kind of joy that I get from taking photos. And that same kind of rush comes to me at my favorite shoots still today. So it was just at that moment that I really realized that that's the kind of effect photography has on me. And luckily for me, I don't have to risk my life to kind of get that. There's obviously a lot of risks with just being in a creative profession and trying to pursue something with more of a creative nature. I didn't study photography, and when I first started taking photos, it's this whole thing of like, is what I'm doing good enough, and are people gonna pay me to do this kind of stuff? And like when I got my first paid job, I was like, this is crazy. There's so many talented people out there. Am I good enough to do this? I see a lot of people that want to get into photography, and then they kind of let go of that. They don't find their kind of inspiration within it. There needs to be something else, another element of passion and something. So I think the people that I see that are most successful, they already have a pre-existing passion for music or food or people or traveling, and when they merge that with photography, that's when I really see people like really getting into it, absorbing everything they can so they can bring their passions out. For me, that was a lot of travel and people that really merged those things. I didn't know it was going to turn into a full-time thing, but I'm happy it did.